Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 566 based on novel. So let's start. Above the void, the vast power of reincarnation swept away, and the space passages were strangely surging, and there were even several vast and terrifying breaths slowly overflowing. Shocking. This land of the underworld is really an evil sect, and it can only use a short-distance space shuttle. The void was surging, and a group of black shadows poured out, and a white-haired old man said solemnly, "It seems that a very fierce battle has broken out here." After a while, the white-haired old man who was the first to speak in the crowd raised his drooping eyes, glanced at the world here, and then shook his head. The guy ran away again. In the kingdom of angels, the archangel Baline looked at Xiao Yan and the others who were escaping rapidly in the distance, and his eyes were immediately filled with extreme anger. Originally, he wanted to use the charge of Thunder Lord to let the Endless Flame Alliance fail, but this Xiao Yang did not play cards according to common sense and directly opened the entrance to the underworld, which completely shattered the plan of the Kingdom of Angel. The Archangel Ars, who was surrounded by the army, and the Son of God, who only existed in the legend of the center of the human world, glanced at the evil army below that was swallowed up and wiped out by the undead creatures, and there was something in their hearts. Decision-making. It's just that the army of strong men behind them vaguely showed signs of surging in the direction of Xiao Yang and the others. Among the crowd, there are many shining white angel wings, and one after another terrifying fluctuations that make people shudder. Angels, listen to my orders and purify this place completely. The powerhouses of the Kingdom of Angels ignored the powerhouses in the center of the human world. The white angel wings flickered, and a dazzling sacred flame erupted in an instant, wiping out the evil army that remained here. However, although their power is extremely sacred, the effect they can play on the undead creatures is very small. Forget the immortal Xuanzuan, you cut them down first with the method of space, otherwise once they merge with the underworld powerhouse, I am afraid it will become difficult for us. Among the dozens of powerhouses in the center of the human world, a middle-aged man in high spirits spoke up. Hearing this, the white-haired old man nodded instantly, and then his speed skyrocketed, chasing and killing him like a shooting star. Ares. If this trip to the underworld fails, I believe you know the stakes better than me. Seeing the many angels wasting time because of the power of encircling and suppressing evil, Ren Shenz's expression changed slightly, and he became angry. Don't worry, they will die this time. As soon as the voice fell, it became completely quiet here. There is still a lot of distance from the nether wall, so let's rest for a while. Death was the first to stop. Looking at the unmoving coalition forces behind him, he was immediately panting. The strength of him and the King of Fallen Angels has long been exhausted, so moving at such a high speed naturally burdened their bodies. Why do you have those feathers on you? When everyone passed the dark underworld area and came to the sky above a gloomy mountain peak, the King of Fallen Angels and the God of Death slowly stood together, and there was still a lot of vigilance in their eyes. The power of the many strong men behind Xiao Yang surged slightly, and it seemed that they were ready to fight at any time. However, this first battle in the underworld was ended by Xiao Yang, but the many fallen angels under the King of Fallen Angels and the ***** of death were all wiped out. Obviously, in order to defeat the opponent, they also paid a very heavy price. She's a pretty well-behaved and lovable girl. Seeing the attitude of the King of Fallen Angels, Xiao Yang seemed to have guessed something, and immediately sneered, but he was not polite to the latter. As a parent, it is shameful to let one's blood flow to a foreign country so ruthlessly. The situation became tense again, and Liu Yun immediately stood up and dragged out all the news about Qingyuan that she knew. Humph. The catastrophe is imminent, and this idle conversation, the old man admires. Just when the King of Fallen Angels tried to ask questions, the void of the mountain exploded eerily, and a white-haired old man stepped out of the void. Shin. The strength of this guy, even through the void, makes everyone uneasy. One of the three strange places in the center of the human world. Forgotten immortal Xuanzuan? The God of Death and the King of Fallen Angels looked at each other, with endless fear spreading out from their pupils. This guy had a lot of achievements in the First World War, and he reached the 9 reincarnation rank. Now that there have been countless reincarnations in the past, the latter's strength is probably even more heart-pounding. Just relying on these shrimp soldiers and shrimp generals, I am afraid it is difficult to stop each other. I can't believe that there are still people who know about the old man. On the old body of Wangxian Xuanzuan, there are light yellow energies emerging one after another, and then rising like flames, and the calm voice exploded in everyone's minds like thunder. Is it the pinnacle of the 9-layer reincarnation? This center of the human world really has some strength. The king of beasts next to Xiao Yang stepped out, and the breath of the majestic and violent divine beasts emerged, as if trying to compete with the latter. I'll stop him. You go first. Xiao Yang's eyes revealed endless coldness. He turned to look at the army that had begun to move rapidly in the distance. There was not much time left for them. With their strength, and the two dying powerhouses in the underworld, they were simply unable to resist the combined forces of the center of the human world and the kingdom of angels. Moreover, the coercion unleashed by the powerhouse in front of him made Xiao Yang's heart tremble. Although the king of beasts could barely resist the opponent, if he made a mistake, he would undoubtedly fall into a situation of doom. But, following Xiao Yang's voice, Kaylin, Yunyun, and the others frowned. They knew that the gap between each level of the 9 reincarnation rank was like a gulf, and even if Xiao Yang faced the latter, the odds of winning were slim. There's no time, you go first, I'll be there later. With a gloomy face, Xiao Yang said to everyone behind him, and then flashed directly in front of Wangxian Xuanzuan. When everyone heard the words, they had to nod their heads, and then surging rapidly, swept away against the unattainable wall. With Xiao Yang's current strength and fighting power, if he wanted to leave, he would probably only rely on a 9th level reincarnation rank, but still can't stop him. Want to go? Wangxian Xuanzuan watched the other person's figure fleeing quickly, and snorted. The figure just moved, but he found a thin black figure appeared in front of him like a ghost. The most striking thing is the colorful flames on the black shadow. In the flames, he actually felt a long-lost feeling of heart palpitations. Your opponent is me. Xiao Yang flashed in front of Wangxian Xuanzuan in an instant, his sleeves waved, and hot flame ripples rippled out. The sacred hot flame just emerged, completely disrupting Wangxian Xuanzuan's body. Although the 9-color sacred flame lacks some kind of divine nature and cannot volatilize its supreme power, Xiao Yang still has a lot of confidence to use it against an old man in the early stages of the 9 reincarnation rank. The most important thing. Xiao Yang also wanted to try it out to see if the gap between his own strength in the early stage of the 9 reincarnation rank and the peak early stage of the 9 reincarnation rank could be filled with the 9-colored holy flame. Humph. If it wasn't for the negligence of the Boundary Master and others, how could you have grown up like a descendant of the Xiao clan? Until there were only 2 people left at the height of this mountain peak, the eyes of the old man Wangxian Xuanzuan could not help but gush with a cold killing intent, just staring at Xiao Yang, as if he wanted to kill the latter completely. The center of the human world. I will go there sooner or later. Facing the old man's cynicism, Xiao Yang smiled slightly and watched the old man in front of him vigilantly. Xiao Yang didn't know much about the 3 wonders at the center of the human world, but according to rumors, those were all overlord-level figures who used to be all-powerful. No matter in terms of combat power or combat experience, they were far from comparable to previous opponents. But today, your time of death has come. Wangxian Xuanzuan roared fiercely, and the power in his body began to surge, and the complicated yellow light prints, like some ancient prohibition beyond Xiao Yang's cognition, were constantly condensed in this void. It can be seen that the strength and combat power of this guy is definitely not a mediocre person who has just stepped into the peak of the 9 reincarnation rank. Don't be ashamed. Xiao Yang's eyes narrowed slightly, and countless chills vaguely flowed from the depths of his pupils. Dragon Claw. Facing the opponent's bizarre tricks, Xiao Yang covered his entire body with golden dragon scales, and immediately turned his hands into claws, and smashed directly at Wangxian Xuanzua. After completely absorbing the blood of the Golden Dragon King and the power of the Dragon God's Bone, the power of the Dragon God's Claws is already the same as that displayed by the Golden Dragon King. The Golden Dragon Claws slid through the dark void, the huge dragon claws flashed away, and there was a fierce and violent aura on it, like an angry thunder falling from the sky, venomously facing the forgetfulness. Immortal Xuanzuan shot away at the key point. A claw fell, and countless golden ripples suddenly swayed in the void, and immediately Wangxian Xuanzuan's face became ugly. The breath of the Golden Dragon King, the supreme fighting skills of the dragon race? In the face of Xiao Yang's aggressive attack, Wangxian Xuanzuan's withered old face gradually poured out a ferocious aura, his palms changed rapidly, and instantly transformed into a faint yellow light print, which suddenly matched with Xiao Yang's. The dragon claws are smashed together. Bang bang bang. The two collided, and the terrifying energy ripples spread out, but it did not cause any impact on the two, but caused the void to tremble slightly. You are really full of countless treasures. After a while, Wangxian Xuanzuan's cold old eyes suddenly transformed into a wonderful color, looking at Xiao Yang as if he was looking at a very tempting treasure. Why would my attack be ineffective against him? Could it be because of that light seal? One blow failed, Xiao Yang's body stood in midair, looking at Wangxian Xuanzuan, who was constantly gathering countless mysterious seals, and immediately shook his head. The strength of this immortal old man is probably even more terrifying than the ordinary ninefold reincarnation level peak early stage powerhouse. Looking at the speed of the Black Army in the distance, I am afraid that it will arrive here within 100 breaths. Xiao Yang can only helplessly shake his head. Forget the immortal profound seal. A sneer, accompanied by a dazzling light mark, suddenly radiated from the center of the old man's eyebrows, and immediately blasted away at Xiao Yang like a bunch of unstoppable filaments of light. The speed is so fast that it is unpredictable. Even with Xiao Yang's perception power, when faced with this kind of power, he could not help but feel a heart palpitation. Even when the light yin was close to him, the memory in his mind was actually shattered little by little. The latter devours. The attack came too suddenly, but Xiao Yang was by no means a generalist. The gorgeous flame seemed to flash out of Xiao Yang's body instinctively, jumping in front of him, isolating the power of the strange light out of thin air. The temperature in the dark void instantly became boiling. The ***** merged slightly, and then a dazzling fire wave burst out like a ferocious dragon. When the strange light seal eroded in front of Xiao Yang, it seemed to ignore a lot of power. Xiao Yang's body trembled slightly, and even the holy flame, reincarnation, and other powers in the body all became restless at the same time. The complexion of Wangxian Xuanzuan, who was entangled by the gorgeous flame and fire dragon, instantly became gloomy, and the ferocious dragon transformed by the gorgeous holy flame also made him greatly stress. Try this. The eye of holy flame. The corner of Xiao Yang's mouth suddenly raised a strange arc, and the spiritual palace in his body instantly boiled. With the latter's mobilization, a pair of looming soul vertical eyes appeared above Xiao Yang's head out of thin air. This type of attack is the strongest soul attack that Xiao Yang can unleash now. The combination of soul and holy flame power. Seeing that Xiao Yang's whole body was temporarily shrouded by his own light seal, the complexion of Wangxian Xuanzuan became more and more difficult to look, because the power of forgetting immortals seemed to be isolated by Shenyang or some other force. Bumble. The pupil of Saint Flame was as small as dust, but under Xiao Yang's subtle control, it opened instantly, like an ancient pupil that had been closed for countless years, and it locked the latter just after it was opened. The soul ripples in the dim void rippled in circles, and the holy flame ripples overflowed from it, and immediately rushed away at Wangxian Xuanzuan at a speed that surpassed knowledge. Now, I'd like to see how you cope. In Xiao Yang's palm, a beautiful lotus platform slowly condensed, but his eyes were always watching the still-forgotten Xuanzuan. With the soul power close to the realm of the gods, combined with the 9-color holy flame, isn't it so easy to deal with the fighting skills that are specifically aimed at attacking the soul? Forget the immortal profound seal, forget the immortal judgment. In the face of Xiao Yang's destructive soul attack, the handprint of forgetting immortal Xuanzuan changed again, and the strange light imprint in front of Xiao Yang disappeared instantly and flashed directly in front of him out of thin air. Bang! At the same time, the pupil of the holy flame also completely collided with the strange light seal, and the whole world rang out with numb soul roars. However, the two have not yet erupted into more destructive fluctuations. The strange light seal actually nibbled away little by little, covering the pupil of the holy flame, depriving it of everything. With the appearance of this scene, Xiao Yang in the distance, the smile on his face was gradually replaced by coldness. Crack! A slight voice sounded, and the fluctuation of the confrontation between the two disappeared instantly, and the eye of holy flame, which had not exploded completely, also unilaterally cut off contact with Xiao Yang. On the eye of holy flame, in addition to the original power of Xiao Yang, there is also an ethereal power. But what Xiao Yang can be sure of is that his control over the latter has completely disappeared. Humph, I'll let you taste your own attack. As soon as the voice fell, countless soul voices swarmed in front of Wangxian Xuanzuan, and immediately followed the pupil of the holy flame, and the target suddenly changed to Xiao Yang. Try this. Until this moment, Xiao Yang also had the intention to retreat. The exquisite lotus pedestal in the palm of his hand was completely formed, and his eyes flashed slightly. As soon as Xiao Yang's voice fell, the lotus pad of his palm slammed into the latter, and his figure quickly retreated. In the dim void, there was suddenly a round of twisted lotus dais, which slowly cut through the void. In the center of the lotus dais, countless gorgeous fire pillars even erupted continuously, slaughtering them towards Wangxian Xuanzuan. With that terrifying formation and speed, even Wangxian Xuanzuan, the fear in his heart was magnified extremely quickly. The two attacks had just clashed, and countless chilling energy fluctuations hummed like thunder, resounding throughout the deadly underworld. With that level of attack fluctuations, I am afraid that even the powerhouses of the 9 reincarnation rank are the existence of the color change. Under such an earth-shattering explosion, the two figures did not seem to be seriously damaged. You were still chasing after me, and quickly swept away towards the dark wall behind. Will something happen to the master? A group of strong men in the rear moved rapidly, and figures with mottled energy crossed the sky and went away to the position of the dark wall. Only after hearing the earth-shattering sound in front of them, they couldn't help turning their heads and looking into the distance. There was some unease in it. The location of the dark wall not far from everyone is an endless darkness, as if there is an insurmountable wall of evil, let alone overstepping, even if it is lightly swiped, there is an indescribable vagueness. The feeling arises spontaneously. The nether wall is not something they can step on. The evil power here has completely disappeared. It seems that Lord Dark King has won. Looking around, a look of relief gradually appeared in the eyes of the god of death and the king of fallen angels. In the underworld, the **** of death, the king of fallen angels, the king of darkness, and the strength of many powerhouses of the underworld, there is no doubt that the strength of the latter two can be learned from the world. Come on. At the moment when everyone hesitated, Xiao Yang's roaring voice suddenly came out from far to near, and there was a very rapid fluctuation in his voice. Even Xiao Yang himself did not expect that all the attacks he was proud of would be shattered by the latter's bizarre forgetting immortal judgment. Looking up, I saw two black shadows moving at a high speed in the distance chasing after me. Both their bodies were covered with large and small scars, especially the waves that erupted from Wangxian Xuanzuan. Furious, the scene was once appalling. The powerhouse at the pinnacle of the 9th reincarnation is certainly so terrifying. With Xiao Yang's current strength, it is almost difficult to stop the opponent if he does not do his best. Go. The complexion became solemn again, and immediately the god of death and the king of fallen angels took the lead, and swept the remaining coalition troops towards the nether wall. Who, finally, is it here? And just as Wangxian Xuanzuan was chasing Xiao Yang with his disorganized body in the distance, an old voice above the dark wall was as gratifying as a guardian who had been waiting for countless reincarnations to wake up suddenly. It sounded in this world. Hearing such a flat voice that despised everything, a group of strong men, including the king of beasts, all looked at each other in dismay, unable to raise any emotion in their hearts. This kind of power is too strong, so powerful that it subverts their understanding. It is simply impossible to resist, let alone defeat. Wangxian Xuanzuan stayed stiffly above the void, looked up gloomily at the unattainable dark wall. The phantom that was almost hidden in the darkness made him really smell a death threat. At this time, on the ground here, countless remaining dark green flames and a faint trace of evil aura made de Wangxian Xuanzuan's heart become more and more hideous. Dark King. This guy is wanted by the Human World Center. Do you want to? Wangxian Xuanzuan stared solemnly at the illusory black shadow on the dark wall, and roared with grinning. Even if they know very little about the true identity of the Dark King, the power of the devil in the opponent's body makes the world center and the powerhouse of the kingdom of angels fearful. That kind of power seems to have no countermeasures at all. Law. In the face of this unknown force, how can they deal with it? The Son of God. Where's the Son of Man? The illusory shadow on the dark wall did not pay attention to Wangxian Xuanzuan, but said with a silent gaze and arrogant opening. As soon as he finished speaking, his body slowly fell from the sky above and swooped towards Xiao Yang's position. The Dark King hidden in the dark vortex has long dark hair, dark green skin, and even eyes of different colors, making this so-called Dark King look even more sinister and evil. Buzz. And at the moment when this Xeon appeared, Xiao Yang's body suddenly froze in mid-air, and the demonic power in his body, which had already been overused and could no longer be used for a short time, started a kind of crazy surge. Move. That feeling is like the blood of the devil in the body. The power of the devil smells one of the most delicious food. It is crazy, it is restless, and the greedy factor is just around the corner. Looking at this so-called King of Darkness, the whole body is enveloped with endless demonic power, and it is impossible to distinguish the true face of the latter, but the demonic power around the latter is more than anything Xiao Yang has used in the past. Far more terrifying. An ominous, strange aura constantly surrounds and emanates from it, making this world fill with an unspeakable fear. Even when his eyes were fixed on the other party, the lines of the Xiao clan in Xiao Yang's body, as well as the bloodline, were surging slightly. Such a strange feeling, as if from the same vein. Those who invade the underworld will be killed without mercy. Coming to Xiao Yang's side, a chilling voice was once again transmitted from the dark vortex. Monica Lewinsky's new move, a strategy to rebrand her image. Her beauty. Die. Ha ha ha. Facing the words of the King of Darkness, Wangxian Xuanzuan suddenly burst into laughter. His smile was full of endless madness, like a genuine lunatic. Forget immortal profound strength. Destroy everything here for me. For a time, in the entire dim void, a yellow light beam began to flicker, and there was endless anger in the latter's pupils, as if a supreme being had been offended by ants. Forgetting immortal Jew. Forgetting immortal profound beast. Boom. A yellow beam of light roared out from Wangxian Xuanzuan's body, and every trace exuded an unparalleled power of destruction. Just a moment later, a huge energy behemoth occupied everyone's mind. The yellow halo is ancient and vast, and the light is beating. Although it is not as sacred as the angelic kingdom, it is vaguely filled with a terrifying aura that shakes the world. That is the power of forgetting immortals to erase memories, destroy souls, etc. Kill me. The giant beast has just been formed, and it even contains some rules under the control of Wangxian Xuanzuan. He took huge steps, smashed the void, and shot away at the King of Darkness. During the movement along the way, countless dim voids trembled slightly, and dark abyss appeared out of thin air, as if the whole world would be destroyed by it. Wen Lin, Senior Yaroji. Seeing such a move, Xiao Yan hurriedly roared at everyone in the crowd behind him. His eyes were full of blood, and all the power in his body was almost ready to be exerted. Rinse. In the face of the opponent's attack, the Dark King smiled contemptuously, and immediately a demon hand covered with dark green lines protruded slightly from the void. Before Wangxian Xuanzuan could react, the evil hands swept across the space viciously. In an instant, the void collapsed, and the huge body of the destroying beast was instantly annihilated in the darkness. Even the Wangxian Xuanzuan behind him, there was no time for any struggle, and his head was in a different place. Before and after this, it's only a short 3-breath time. The time of the 3 breaths seems short, but in the hands of this arrogant Dark King, he can do a lot of things. At the first breath, the arm covered with the devil's pattern protruded from the dark vortex, and immediately with a touch of endless magic power that could subvert the universe, suddenly through the endless void, with a light grip, the energy giant with a contemptuous attitude. The beast will not attack and self-destruct, and it will collapse in an instant. In the second breath, after destroying the energy behemoth, the devil's hand concealed the void and slowly appeared behind Wangxian Xuanzuan. The latter's heart was exposed to the devil's palm without reservation. In the third breath, the demon's hand pierced through Wangxian Xuanzuan's chest like a sharp blade in time and space, and then the radiance of demons boiled up, tearing apart, swallowing the latter's body and even his soul. At this moment, the powerhouses of the Endless Flame Alliance looked at each other in dismay. The corners of their eyes froze, looking at this one of the rulers of the underworld, the King of Darkness, in a daze, and there was a strong fear in the pupils. What terrifying level has this ruler's strength reached? How could it be so easy to obliterate a powerhouse in the early stages of the 9 reincarnation rank? The short period of 3 breaths made Wangxian Xuanzuan pale in shock, as if he had experienced countless cycles of life and death in one instant. He never imagined that the demonic power on the Dark King could completely ignore his own immortal forgetfulness. There was a deep stinging pain in the heart and the limbs and bones in the body, as if at that moment, his body was solidified by it, and all the blood vessels in the body could not be mobilized for a while. The devil's hand waved, and Wangxian Xuanzuan's head was in a different place, but a faint soul light burst out from the latter's self-exploding body, and shot towards the rear as if escaping. The strength reaches the peak of this world. Even if the body is destroyed, it will not be completely destroyed. Misjudgment. Originally thought that the King of Darkness had already been seriously injured by a strong foreigner, so he did not dare to show up. With all his strength, it should be enough to cause fatal injuries to him. Unfortunately, the wrong judgment almost made the latter look good. Exterminate. In the Soul Light group, the dark-faced Wangxian Xuanzuan, his face is full of shock and fear. One of the rulers of the underworld, the King of Darkness, is powerful enough to touch that level. The pinnacle of the 9 reincarnation rank. Still the pinnacle of that pinnacle. In the Soul Light group, the mind has been completely filled with the handsome and evil face of the King of Darkness, and endless fear poured out from the depths of the soul, and it seemed to escape into the void behind. Cece. Just when he tried to kill Wangxian Xuanzuan again in the dark whirlpool, the Dark King's body trembled slightly, and countless demon patterns surged, seemingly impacting the Dark King's mind and soul. Even the demon robe behind the Dark King smelled the same evil aura from the void on the side, vaguely rising from the Dark King's body, trying to break through the shackles, facing Xiao next to him. Fire away. Senior. Seeing this, Xiao Yang hurriedly came to the dark whirlpool and caught the Dark King's body in one fell swoop. At the moment of contact with the Dark King, the latter's countless demon patterns attempted to invade his body through the opponent's body, but were suppressed by a more evil force in the Dark King's body. In the face of this power, even Xiao Yang's complexion was instantly tense, the chill in his heart, and the fear spread rapidly. If you compare the power of the devil in your body with the power of the devil in the King of Darkness, the power of the devil in your own body is more like a stubborn child, while the power of the devil in the King of Darkness is already a master, the supreme master of billions of evil spirits and monsters. Although the essence of the demon power of the two is the same, the demon power contained in the two is very different. Haha, I never imagined that in the place where my Xiao clan originated, such a talented person like you would appear. Feeling the familiar demon power in Xiao Yang's body and the blood of the Xiao family, a soft smile suddenly appeared on the face of the Dark King Shemei, and there was a lot of admiration in the old eyes. Sir, your injury? The god of death and the king of fallen angels on the side also hurriedly surrounded him. Watching the King of Darkness shrouded in the devil's pattern, his face became more and more ugly. The Dark King is one of the two masters in the underworld. Who can hurt him? Xiao Yang, Kailin, Yunyun, Yaroji, and others surrounded the Dark King successively, and immediately stared at the Dark King with serious eyes. From his body, they did smell a very huge oppression. But looking at the demon robe behind the Dark King that looked like a living creature, everyone's pupils shrank slightly. Especially Xiao Yang, with his perception, he naturally knew that the evil fluctuations emanating from this demon robe now were extremely greedy and even ominous. Cough cough. This thing, leave it to you. The body is surging, and the Dark King seems to have a cover, trying to suppress the demon robe behind him. I don't know what it is. Immediately, the King of Darkness narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the powerhouses of the Endless Flame Alliance behind him. He flipped his palms out of thin air, and a black beam of light suddenly moved away. At the moment when this beam of light surged, the demon power in the bodies of several powerful people such as the demon world surged invariably. This is one of the demon world tyrants, creating a demon realm? Wait, over here. Xiao Yuntian, Xiao Tianming, Thunder Master, the Demon Emperor, Xuani, and the King of all beasts had just caught the Jade Realm throne by the Dark King. After a closer look, they found a very small and easily overlooked word from a very hidden gap on the back. This thing came from the hands of the four great guardians outside the territory, one of the FA, Shen Hu, and the FA. According to my guess, the things that happened in the Xiao clan might have something to do with him. The Dark King forcibly resisted the backlash of the demon robe behind him, and spoke slowly. What about others? Xiao Yang was keenly aware that there might be a lot of uncertainty in this matter, and hurriedly asked. If they can be arrested, it will not be difficult for them to ask the truth with their ability. At that time, Lei Zhu and the other three suspects, I am afraid there will be a turning point, and all the truth will be revealed. Dead. Shen, Huang and the two led the army to try to break through the nether wall, and they have already fallen into my hands. When the King of Darkness spoke, there was some regret in his pupils. Even if this matter is Shen Hu, FA did it, but now that there is no proof, I am afraid it will become a difficult problem. With the ability of the Demon Emperor and others, it is natural to know the particularity of this tyrannical weapon, but those speculations, without conclusive evidence, are probably just nonsense. After all, with the disposition of the Kingdom of Angels and others, they will not because of the one-sided remarks of the tyrants of the district. I will stop here. Now, this seems to have become a dead end. Senior, your body. Xiao Yang turned his head slightly, saw drops of bean-sized blood-colored sweat continuously emerging on the Dark King's forehead, and immediately said with concern. Judging from Xiao Yang's perception, the injury in the Dark King's body does not seem to be caused by external forces, but more like his own. Could it have something to do with the demon robe behind him? Facing Xiao Yang's concerns, the Dark King only focused on the latter, as if he was examining something in the latter's body. Being stared at by the King of Darkness like this, Xiao Yang's soul trembled slightly, and even the dazzling spiritual palace became quiet in an instant, and a fear that penetrated into the soul slowly poured out. Pluto, and how about those Xiao clan experts? Holy King. Yaroji hurriedly came up, her beautiful eyes surging, and she asked eagerly, this is the last hope in her heart. It's not time yet. Before I tell you these things, I'm afraid there are still some troublesome things that need to be resolved. The King of Darkness shook his head, raised his head and looked at the suddenly stirred and twisted void in the distance. One after another, a majestic and suffocating breath followed. Nether wall, King of Darkness. It seems that we are getting closer and closer to the core of the underworld. A bright beam of light swept out, and then hundreds of elites flashed out of thin air. That is the center of the human world, and the army of the kingdom of angels. Here is the last line of defense to protect the city of Hades. If this place is defeated, I am afraid that the situation of Hades will be even more dangerous. Now Pluto is fighting with 2 Zeons outside the territory. If they are involved, I am afraid things will become more complicated. The Dark King gradually walked out of the dark vortex, and the demon robe behind him could not help but utter outrageous demonic voices, as if he wanted to completely devour the latter. The Battle of Hades, do we need to take action? When Xiao Yan asked this sentence, he smiled helplessly. The strength of the Dark King has reached the end of reincarnation, and the more powerful Pluto may have already reached an indescribable level. A battle of that level, even if it is demonized, is not qualified to intervene. Stinky boy, is this discouraged? Seeing the helpless smile flickering from the corner of Xiao Yang's mouth, the King of Darkness suddenly patted the latter's shoulder. The Endless Flame Alliance is a member of the Alliance, gathers strength to protect the Dark Wall, and intercept the opponent's army. Go ahead. The revenge of the Xiao family begins with them. Xiao Yang's eyes were filled with awe-inspiring fighting intent, filled with extreme surging crazy killing intent. It's been a long time since I've had such a strong pressure. Today, I'm fighting ***** here. Holy flame, the power of the Golden Dragon King, the Keel. It would be a pity to let it devour so much power. Looking at Xiao Yang's appearance, some rare madness emerged from the depths of the Dark King's eyes. Let the unfinished plan continue on this guy. No one knew that he was Xiao Yunming, the younger brother of the Xiao clan chief. At the time of the First World War, he was the first poisonous hand in the deep and outside world, and his search for healing in the kingdom of angels was fruitless. In addition, the patriarch already had a premonition that the end of the Xiao clan was approaching, so he secretly went out to open a new mansion and fell alone. Looking for a new mansion in the turbulent flow of time and space, but stepped into the underworld by accident. After stepping into the underworld, Xiao Yunming and Hades fought several times, and the two were almost evenly matched, forming an acquaintance. It was also because Hades received the favor of Xiao Qianyuan, the supreme leader of the Xiao family, and worked hard to help Xiao Yunming open up a new mansion. But just when Xiao Yunming was trying to contact the Xiao family, the outside world was defeated, and the Xiao family was almost destroyed. At the moment of life and death, the King of Pluto and the King of Darkness shot from the sky, and the few remaining Zeons of the Xiao family were brought into the new mansion of the underworld. Shelter in the underworld. Afterwards, the grief was broken, causing some kind of heart-pounding mutation in the power of the latter's body. At the moment of crisis, the latter forcibly relied on astonishing will and talent to fuse the power of the leader outside the realm, the Xiao clan. The power of the demons, etc., gradually formed the prototype of the power of the devil. After that, for revenge, Xiao Yunming devoted his life to researching the power of demons, and finally succeeded in his research. It is a pity that the land of the underworld is full of too many confinements. If you step into this place, you cannot leave unless your strength reaches the quasi-god. As a last resort, the King of Darkness can only rely on his extraordinary divine power to protect the city of Underworld from being invaded, while dormant in the underworld to spy on the Dacian world, secretly scattered some seeds about the power of the devil, and by coincidence, some crazy people in the Dacian world who served the sins of the evil tribe outside the territory got it. Then there was the crazy research on the devil fruit. After that, the new attribute, the power of the devil, also fell into Xiao Yang's hands by accident. But whether it's the devil fruit or my own research, it all shows that the side effects of the devil's power are too huge, and the load far exceeds that of human beings. The appearance of demon robes has made demon power a new attribute that can be controlled. The King of Darkness knows that in order to study the power of demons, his talent and vigor are exhausted, and even his life and soul are dedicated to the power of demons, and now he can no longer become the purest demon of blood. The appearance of Xiao Yang made the crazy plan in the Dark King's heart even stronger. His purpose is still revenge. Vengeance against the kingdom of angels who cannot be saved. Revenge on the despicable and despicable world master at the center of the human world. With the power of his life's hard work, he forged this world, the only demon, the only superpower. When the radiance of the devil blooms again, even the whole world will be eclipse. The King of Darkness, what is he planning? Yaroji and the others were relatively weak, and with Xiao Yang's orders, they could only gather the power of everyone at the rear to form an energy barrier to bless the wall, preventing the invasion of the enemy's army. In the real battlefield, there are only the two archangels of the kingdom of angels, the Sun, the deputy master of the center of the human world, and Xuanzuan Wangxian, and the few half-step 9-level guards behind them. Middle. On the other hand, on Xiao Yang's side, only Wen Lin, the King of Darkness, and himself are the only ones who can play a decisive role. Master, these two guys, leave them to us. We tried our best to stop them. Wen Lin and Yu Rushuang glanced at each other, knowing the danger of the current battle. You guys go deal with that guy. The Archangel, hand it over to the two of us. While speaking, the figures flickered. Kaylin, Yunyun and the two women fought against each other's Archangel Bei Lin, while the King of All Beasts and Yu Rushuang fought against the Wangxian Xuanzuan who only had a soul left. It's just the strength of a few of them. I'm afraid they won't be able to fight for too long. The remaining two are still very troublesome existences. Stinky boy, let me see your potential. The King of Darkness seems to be very satisfied with Xiao Yang, looking at the latter's eyes as if looking at a carefully carved treasure. Facing the mysterious words of the King of Darkness, Xiao Yang felt quite confused, but at the moment of the enemy, he could only be serious. Humph, grinning. Speak out the location of the people of the Xiao clan, otherwise, die. The Son of the Gods roared vigorously, and the coercion released from the invisible actually vaguely overwhelmed the King of Darkness. That kind of power, even if it has the obstruction and interference of the underworld region, is vaguely a breath of majestic divine power that stirs yin and yang and turns the world upside down. It seems that this kind of fluctuation is not something that reincarnation can have at all. This video will end here.